Did you know that Google personalizes many searches by city and Also Ask is the only tool to access live People Also Ask data at city level? Try for free at alsoasked.com.
Tired of SEO guesswork? Quadra's AI agent goes deeper to uncover high-impact optimizations and completes hours of SEO in minutes. Get started now.
I was going to say that SEO with Fat Joe is as peaceful as this, but then the birds are all having fights.
I'm really glad I just managed to jump up there and not fall over. Hi, I'm Lee, and I'm going to talk to you today about a bit of a journey I've been on recently, trying to move from fear to fearless in my job and in my life in a more wider sense. First off, by show of hands, if you're able to, stick your hand up if the idea of standing up on this stage and talking to a massive room full of people gives you the fear. Yeah, exactly. I've got pretty intense fear right now. But I'm actually scared of a lot of things, a surprising number of things. In particular, swimming, anything deeper than a bath, good luck. That will give me the fear, absolutely. The idea of walking down to the beach out here, getting in the sea and just swimming around, no chance. Spiders, anybody else? Yeah, spiders. I've been absolutely petrified of spiders since I was a small boy. The idea of spiders is great, fantastic as a concept, fascinating little animals, but yeah, if one sneaks up on me, I'm going full flight, fright, freeze, and responding really badly. But the most pervasive thing, day to day, just take a breath, that I kind of deal with, a lot of other people do as well, so this will probably be familiar. The big fear is obviously the chronic imposter syndrome. This one is kind of always there in the background, and it's triggered by a lot of things for me. So kind of day to day, it often creeps up. The idea being that as soon as I walk off this stage, someone's going to run over to me and go, "Ha, you've got absolutely no idea what you're talking about. We found you. There's a van waiting outside. Go and get in the back. We're going to ship you off to some hellish alternative existence." And yeah, like I say, it's always there. I said yeah too many times there. Some of the things that trigger it for me, dealing with developers, anybody else? Anybody who's a developer in the room? Yeah, sorry, but you're really precise people. Like a lot of the devs that I've known throughout my career and in my personal life are genuinely really nice people. But like I say, they are really precise. They like really definite briefs, and they're really not shy in telling you that you're wrong and actually your idea is rubbish and it should never be implemented. Not knowing exactly what you want as well. Like quite often, have kind of a half-formed idea and you think, I'd really like to bounce this around and see what other people think, but if they see this kind of ill-formed gibberish, they're going to think really badly of me. So kind of keep it to yourself. And then this all kind of culminates in feeling a little bit inadequate and a bit underqualified, particularly if you're quite junior as well, you're just starting out. But for me, like our agency, Organic, I'm always surrounded by really quite clever people, and Joe, my boss. So it's like people will look to me for opinions on things, and quite often I feel like I'm probably the least qualified person to talk about it. But actually, what we're going to do is voluntarily face something that makes us uncomfortable, because it turns out it has to be voluntary. Nobody can force you to do it. It won't work that way. But by voluntarily facing something that makes you particularly uncomfortable, it's not just going to make you better at facing that particular thing. It's actually going to make you better at facing everything that makes you a little bit uncomfortable. And I like to think here that actually it's that lion that's doing a bit of exposure therapy with that mouse, because mice are also one of the things I'm not particularly keen on. And this is where the idea of self-empowerment comes in. So we've been given a chance to kind of practice being really bad at something in a bit of a judgment-free way, with nobody kind of staring over your shoulders. And again, like anybody else in the room ever tried to learn to code? I've done it so many times, signed up for Codecademy, done the Python course at Brighton, done loads and loads. It just doesn't stick. Turns out it doesn't work. My particular type of brain, yeah, it doesn't happen. So instead, we've got this lovely, safe playground to mess about in, which is generative AI. And obviously, you're going to listen to loads of AI talks today, so, hopefully this isn't the worst of them. But it is a bit of a safe playground. You can throw as many ideas as you like at the wall, see what sticks, and if nothing sticks, nobody knows because nobody's been watching you do it. And actually, through that process, you can create some pretty good things, some tools to make you kind of better at what you do, to take control of your workflows, and also maybe even spin up some prototypes that you can then take to those developers and say, hey, it's not just half an idea, this is actually a working prototype, can we turn it into something? And I found that goes down a lot better. And I'm going to use ChatGPT in all these examples because, early adopter, I don't like doing things differently if I've done them once and it's worked. But Gemini, Copilot, they all kind of do the same sort of thing. And it all essentially starts with the idea. And if you don't have any ideas, that's also fine. Just look at someone else's tools, like try and work out what they've been doing. Take some of my ideas that I'm going to show you in a bit. Try them out, make them better, make them worse, break them, fix them, do whatever you like. Just don't think that I've got no ideas what to do. Like, ideas are everywhere. Just give it a go, essentially, is what I'm trying to say, because, you have to imagine Sisyphus is happy. 10 points and a crisp high five if you can come up to me later and tell me where this quote comes from. But yeah, it's all about try and try again. And as long as you don't give up, it's not really a failure. You're going to roll the rock to the top of the hill. Whether you win or lose, you're just going to get another rock to roll to the top of another hill eventually anyway. So why not build some resilience along the way? And that's what this process is kind of all about, is doing something difficult voluntarily and becoming better because of it. And that should hopefully give you the impetus to go forward and code all the things. I've allowed myself one meme in this whole presentation. So if you're expecting DiCaprio go in or sad Keanu Reeves or anything, unfortunately you're out of luck. Don't leave now though, obviously. Because being able to code all the things means you get to use these three tools. So these are the three things that I'm going to focus on for the rest of this talk. Those being Google Sheets. I really like Google Sheets because it allows you to do some more advanced stuff that Excel doesn't let you do without installing stuff on your machine locally, and in SharePoint, Excel lets you do none of this. Copilot's if you don't know about it already, it's a browser-based system where you can write and execute Python without having to install anything on your own machine, and it's free to use, which is great. And then this guy on the end, Chrome DevTools. If you're not using Chrome DevTools much at the moment, then you definitely should be, because there's loads of really good stuff in there. So yeah, we've got an idea. The first domino to fall is the idea. And then what we want from there next is the prompt. So the prompt is your chance to kind of explain exactly what it is you want the tool to do, step by step. And if you take your time, this is the bit of the process where that is really beneficial. And you can actually ask the tool to do a bit of the heavy lifting yourself as well. So you can actually go to the likes of ChatGPT and say, hey, I want to make a tool that does X. Can you write me a prompt to feed into ChatGPT that will tell it how to do that? And then you just copy that prompt out and paste it back in, and off you go. And I try, oh, that's a sneak preview. I try to think about the end product first and sort of work backwards from there, break it down into as many steps as I can, put them into something like the right order, inevitably get it wrong. And so the first time I run it, it fails and I get an error message. But those error messages are absolute gold because, and this is the trick, you just copy and paste the error message back into the tool and say, hey, I ran that code, it didn't work. This was the error message, can you fix it? And it goes away, it fixes it, and you get something that hopefully within 2 or 3 iterations works. So what have I done? Over the last couple of years, Google Sheets, I've done loads of stuff. That sounds really big-headed. Ooh, I've done loads of stuff. Sorry, I've just put myself off there. The most common thing that I do with it, though, is write formulas that I can't write myself, because this is another thing that just doesn't work in my brain, along with SQL and regex and all that stuff. I just can't do it. So here's a couple of examples of some slightly complicated things that I've done with it. The top one there, has anybody used split text columns in Google Sheets and the mess that creates? Well, this will just take everything from within a string. I use the word string because it makes it sound like I know what I'm doing. Everything between the 4th and 5th forward slashes, and just put that in a new column. Amazing. I would have probably spent 2 hours looking around for something that kind of did something similar to that, and then trying to adapt it and then get really frustrated and just do it manually. That bottom one, I use this to check kind of post-implementation canonical matches. So it looks at the contents of cell in A2, goes to another sheet, finds a match for that, goes back to the first sheet, checks where the canonicals are in that one, goes back to the other sheet, checks whether they match, and then just returns canonical match or false. I don't know why I said canonical like mismatch instead of false, but hey ho. This is it in action. You could just say, when you're at this point, you can also do something very powerful. I missed that, sorry. Which is actually create Google App Scripts. So you just ask the tool, can you write me the JavaScript to run in Google App Scripts to do whatever it is, the thing you want to do. Head to App Scripts, head to Extensions, App Scripts, and this opens in a lovely new window which you paste your code into. This one was a briefing tool that we made. Create a new deployment, give it a nice name, make sure you call it something really cool, like my great new thing, and correct any typos that you have along the way, because nobody likes a typo. Deploy it, give it access, authorize it, and then once it's authorized, you can go back to your sheet. This is the bit where I was supposed to take a breath and slow down. You can go back to your sheet, enter your lovely new formula for the thing you want it to do, hit run or hit enter, and it will break the first time. So copy the error code, paste it back in. Hey, this didn't work. This is the error code. Can you fix it, please? Using that method, I created an alt text writer because, nobody's got time to write loads and loads of alt text, but accessibility is genuinely really important. So we set the sheet up so that I could see the image, created the app script, run it in that one, and then use the OpenAI API to actually create the alt text based on the image itself. And then just pull that down and create thousands of them in a very short amount of time. There is a rate limit on the API, so if you're expecting to just be able to create 1,000 in 2 seconds, it's not going to happen, but it's still way, way quicker than doing it manually. On to Colab. This is where it feels like it gets more technical, but it really doesn't. The method is the same. And we can actually plug in exports from other tools into Colab, run Python against it, and get from really big data sets down to some actual actionable insight really quickly. And you don't then have to wait for Google Sheets to inevitably crash and then restart and crash and restart because you've put too much data in. For this one, again, go to the LLM. Could you please write me a Python script? You have to say please. Could you please write me a Python script that I can run in Google Colab that will, and then explain the thing you want it to do. Prompts can get very long, so I recommend copying them into a notepad just in case. So this is something that I claim I created, but actually ChatGPT just wrote all of this lovely code. This is an internal linking evaluator. So scrape with Screaming Frog, my favorite tool ever, a few thousand PLPs, take the footer content, feed it into this in a CSV, and it breaks. So copy out that error code, chuck it back into the tool, and ask it for an updated version. And then when it does work, you end up with, here's the amount of times you've used this particular link across all these thousands of pages. Here's how frequent the anchor text is. Here's how many times you've linked to this particular subdirectory, et cetera, et cetera. Really big data set, actionable insight really quickly. How am I doing for time? Okay, cool. The next one is vastly underused because I think people find it very complicated. But at this point, you probably realize that we're all about doing something difficult that feels complicated. And actually, this one is probably one of the most fun ones. It's Chrome DevTools. It does loads of fun stuff. You say that to somebody at a dinner party who doesn't work in any sort of tech, and they go, oh, okay. But actually, it genuinely does. One of the most powerful things you can do with it is it actually lets you execute JavaScript in the console. Again, I say execute because it makes it sound like I know what I'm talking about. But essentially, you can go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I'd like you to write me the code or the JavaScript to run in Chrome DevTools to be able to do X. And in this case, it was export all of the structured data. So head to console, go to sources, create a new snippet. You can see the number of snippets I've got in there. There's a little toolbox that I use quite frequently. Paste in your code, right-click it and run, and then boom, there's all of the structured data from that page. This is great for like drive-by optimization, essentially. I just want to know about this one page really quickly. And you can build up that kind of, that little toolbox. I think we're going to show it. No, shouldn't have done that. Not quick enough. Build up a little toolbox of tools that you can just run really easily. And actually, you can turn any of those tools into Chrome extensions. I'm not going to tell you how to because I've got to give you something to do when you leave the room later. Most recent thing that I did, XML sitemap scraper. This has come in really handy. So if you've got a sitemap with like 50,000 entries in it and you just want to know which URLs are in a specific subcategory within that sitemap, 2 clicks, run it. You just get the URLs that you're interested in. Like I say, lots and lots of things you can do with it. That one on the other side there, Tribo. So this was a custom page scraper for a client website that got specific information, exact and specific to their PLPs that we wanted to know about. I turned it into a Chrome extension, so now it just sits in the toolbar, and whenever I want to know everything about the links that are in the footer, the H1, the canonical, all of that stuff, just click it, it runs, it pulls it out into a new tab. It looks horrendous. One of the front-end devs at our agency who sits next to me hates it because it looks disgusting, but I quite like it. So there we are. We've arrived at a fearless state. We're careening headfirst with the brakes off downhill without a care in the world. But realistically, we aren't, are we? Because we don't necessarily want to remove all the fear. What we want to do is just get better at facing those things that make us uncomfortable. Because like I said at the start, voluntarily facing one thing that makes you uncomfortable doesn't just make you better at facing that thing. It makes you better at facing everything that makes you uncomfortable, including standing up here and talking to you guys. Success really does breed success. But failures don't have to kill that kind of self-reinforcing loop. The failures are the error messages that we're just going to copy and paste into the top of the funnel and then go again. So the next time you do it, it's going to be a little bit easier. I said at the beginning I had a dread fear of water. I turned that around by learning to swim. That's me getting out of a freezing cold lake in the Lake District after swimming 2.5 miles and actually feeling surprisingly good at the end of it. But spiders, not so much. This might be a battle for another time. I'm not quite ready to, like I say, conceptually great, in practice, not so much. And that's it. Thank you all very much for listening.
Thank you.
My slides won't be available on slide deck, and my QR code isn't on there, nor is my link to LinkedIn. If you want to come and find me, do something difficult and come and speak to me, because I'm really bad at just introducing myself to people. But yeah, find me on LinkedIn. If you want any of the ideas, you want any of the slides, anything like that, let me know.
Demand sphere. Limitless visual insights from the SERPs. Unlimited dashboards and users. Easy to use and easy to scale your growth to new levels.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.